What break I'm at? Like where?
The Trying to Camp channel. I mean, Master Runeterra podcast.
That's basically what it is.
Camping at 360.
I'm not. I'm
can't
spamming games that's like
360.
20 LP.
You gotta get up there, man. What's
okay,
What,
Hanneke.
200?
Even if you fall to 0, you're still gonna call
I
on
know.
Einstein.
It's actually so relieving. Like I can
That's so
just
funny.
as much as I want, and I love it.
There aren't 700 masters, so you're good, man.
God, that's so hilarious.
You
Just
have
0 LP it in there. All right. Oh, I see. What am I in a BBG at 404?
It's just the seasonal is Thanksgiving, right? Like, I'm literally gonna be playing the seasonal from my grandparents' house. Okay.
It's like Thanksgiving weekend.
Are they gonna like actually?
You're welcome to skip if you want.
Is that like a?
Honestly.
Is that like a competitive security? Like, are your grandparents gonna be there helping you out or what?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, no, I'm totally gonna get those big advisors up in there. Make sure I don't make those terrible misplays.
I think he's top 32s all the time. He's got the whole family behind him.
That's why he doesn't stream those.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Guys from the back just being like, no, just pass here. It's fine.
No, I don't know. I don't stream seasonals because I feel like this is a little bit of an excuse because there's no reason I shouldn't be able to play as well on stream as I do off. But at the end of the day, I don't.
Nobody does. Not a single person
Yeah.
in history has ever played as good on stream as
That's
me.
when I don't
I
stream.
have this terrible habit where even if I'm on like a 10-minute delay, I'll just alt tab and read chat.
Yeah, I do it too. What's up, man? How you doing?
Yeah.
I read chat like during games, and I'm like, my opponent will take like 10 seconds to think about something, and then my eyes just drift over, and I just start reading chat. And I'm like, summit that. So I have to have the deck list full screen on the other monitor, so I can't see it, and then I'll just like not let myself click off it at all.
See, like I try to act smarter than I actually am for the chat, and then it messes up all my clicks.
Oh,
You like
no.
3-head yourself.
Yeah.
I get that.
You gotta stop playing around things, man. Gotta embrace that inner NA.
Oh yeah, they have it. The golden rule. So I've been playing. Obviously, I've been talking about this to you guys a bunch. I've been playing Field of Mina mostly.
Yeah.
Because I hate Plunder, and I hate Zed Poppy, and don't want to play those decks, and don't really want to play Scion. And Field of Rush loses to a lot of the counter meta decks right now, like Thralls, which is getting really popular, Lee, which is getting really popular. And
I will argue that second one. Field of Rush does not actually lose to Lake.
yes, but it's not like great. You know what I mean?
It's like with good
Field of
players
Mina.
on both sides, it's actually about 50-50.
I could agree with that, but I really like it from the Field of Mina side. I have Will of Ionias, I have Palms, I have Triple Deny, right? Like, so I just sit there, get to 12 mana, and Mina you, and then, you know, I have my Deny, you know, what stuff like that, right? I have Pods as well. So I like it more from that
It's
side.
definitely Field of Mina favorite.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. I don't run Avalanche, right? So that I can tutor Field of Rush with Scatterpod. I don't know if I'm winning all my games with the deck because people don't know I'm not on Avalanche. You know?
I've definitely seen it going around the community that they've lost to Field of Mina and they've looked up the list and go, why the fuck was I playing around this?
Everyone plays around Avalanche, but that won't be the case in seasonals if I decide to bring it. Which right
Saving
now,
up for extra 3 damage every time.
yeah. So right now I am leaning towards bringing it.
Yeah, I
Just
think
like
I
it.
think Field of Mina is really strong, and I haven't decided if I'm on Field of Mina or Field of Rush. I'm almost certainly on one of those for seasonals. I think I'm more likely to stick to more traditional Field of Rush because I personally like to be better into the more aggressive Scion versions, and I feel like you really need more of those avalanches, and it's easy to just get burned out with Field of Mina. But I
is.
definitely understand if you want to be better at control.
You have better matchups into like Ping City and stuff too.
Yeah.
But I do think the Ziggs Poppy is probably like the same both ways because like you have a little more like life gain with like Vile Piece and stuff. But I have Denies and Wills to stop like Fervors and Decimates.
Denying Decimate is a good time.
Oh my god, it feels so good. It feels so good. Yeah. But I like both because I'm also trying to decide which one. Right now I'm on Field of Mina, especially if Field of Rush continues to pick up popularity. Just having 3x
Sure.
Deny in the mirror and like a board reset just sounds fantastic.
You kind of auto win mirrors.
Yeah. That's like originally why Field of Mina came about in like seasonal 1, right? You guys remember that?
No.
Yep.
Nope.
Was it not?
No.
Yeah, it was-
Actually,
Well, besides Ionia being good,
no. It was Field of Mina actually showed up to beat Endure. The fact that it beat the Mirror was just an extra bonus. It was
Oh.
actually there specifically because it could beat Endure.
interesting.
that's not why I brought it.
That was why the deck was made.
Hmm.
Like it may have ended up coming to seasonals for different reasons, but the
Oh.
original like Field of Mina was made to beat Endure.
Like you
Okay.
could deny the harrowings to like the fearsome dudes and like
Yeah,
Ionia was good.
It'd also be-
Dude, always.
yeah.
Like,
It's a really solid deck. It sounds crazy, but I almost want to try to run both. But that you have
I thought about that actually. I was like, but you have to run Trundle. Like,
I mean, the question is, can I get away with just running like Sejuani Braum or something? Like, I don't know. It's probably a terrible idea, but on the other
That
hand,
sounds
I kind of want
hilarious.
to anyway.
you could run Sejuani Braum and Field of Mina. It's less
Yeah, that's
good.
what I'm
Trundle's like
saying.
really good, but you could.
Is there anything in Ionia you could run? Like any champions? Probably not.
Bro, Aurelia.
Is there a champion in Ionia? Excuse me, Hideki?
Tetten's in it,
wait,
let's
I
go.
forgot. There's no champions.
Yeah, Zed Braum.
The
let's-
Yo,
Yasuo.
Yasuo?
I don't think Yasuo.
You got 3
Mina?
palms and
Yeah.
2 wills. What more do you need, man?
10-10
I mean,
Yasuo?
clearly the answer is Karma, so we can play 2 Field Rushes, right? That's the
Oh
real
my
thing.
god. Oh
Gotta
my
get
God.
that doubled. That's how, wait, guys! I found the Field of Mina mirror attack. I did it. You just play Karma instead of Zendemir. That way they can't deny your Field Rush. I did it.
Damn. That's kind of fun.
Wow, guys, we've gone real far.
Yeah, that's like the most inbred meta shit I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah, guys, we're gonna target field.
Nobody listening to this. I am actively fucking around right
It sounds
now.
like a top 32 tech.
That does sound like a top 32 take. My lineup is basically M-Tux from OLS. It's like right now. It's like Lee, FTR, although I'll probably play the Mina variant, and then probably Thralls, because like
Yeah, me and MTuck basically the entire season have been on Lee FTR, and we've been arguing about what our third deck is supposed
that's basically what I've been as
basically
well.
been the entire season.
It's like I'm gonna play Lee. FTR slots into what I want to do. Now what else am I gonna play? I do like this Thralls variant because it honestly is less all-in feeling to me. Like you're heavier on the Talias. You're not playing the clunky 5-drops, and I kind of like that. Like it feels less turbo,
Yeah.
but I feel like I have more staying power almost.
My problem with this Thralls list is like, and it clearly really worked out for MTuck last weekend, right? That was fucking awesome. But my problem with Thralls in general is kind of my same as the problem with a lot of other things. I feel like you just get run over by anyone who throws an aggro lineup at you. Like they show up with like Poppy, Ziggs, Lurk, and some random ass Demacia rally deck. It's like, since I lost.
Yo, Frozen Fire, thank you so much for the prime in the 9 months. Yeah, I feel that. Although you are on the 3 Avalanche, 3 Ravine, 3 Kindlies right now, which is like,
I don't
Pretty
think
good.
that's enough. The aggro decks are so strong. I do not think that makes aggro favored. I
They
think
are.
that gives you a chance against aggro, but I still think you're gonna get run over.
what I like is that, one, Pink City's a bad deck, right? And if I'm going up against Pink City with like Thralls in my lineup, I feel pretty good.
You'll note that I did not mention Pig City in my aggro list.
Yes, well, Ziggs Poppy is the aggro deck, right? But my lineup already bans Poppy. So
I mean-
I don't have to worry about a second Poppy deck.
And like double Demacia or Lurk, right, are just like all fucking
Yeah.
miserable matchups for Thralls.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lurk's
Like
pretty
actually
bad.
close to
Lurk,
unwinnable.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Here's the thing though. I feel like every single seasonals, they come up with these lineups, and it's like, oh, this is super good. Or you like snap lose to aggro. Like, oh, I can't do that. And they literally, and like I know other people have had different experiences than me. Like I forget who it was. I think it was Jason Sigel hit like 3 in a row aggro decks or something. But like every single seasonals, I'm like, I came ready, baby. Let's crush these aggro players. Where are they at? And I'll see like maybe 1 in 9 rounds. And I'm like, fuck, I should have just like ignored it. And I don't know. They just like, it seems like the aggro lists haven't done particularly well. Maybe this season is different though.
No.
Aggro's much better.
My thinking is that the aggro lineup starts with like Plunder still. It doesn't start with Plunder, but
Yeah,
it finishes
that's-
on Plunder.
That's an issue. When the decks that are like, they're not like real aggro. They're not like
And
your
that's not
base
this
aggro.
isn't an aggro lineup. If it's starting with plunder, then
No.
it's just like it's
Yeah,
gonna
I
be
don't-
traditional mid range.
But like if
I don't
someone's
think-
bringing like spiders Ziggs, Poppy, and something else. I'm like fine.
No,
with
the
that,
decks,
dude.
what am I like just listed off? Like,
Lurk.
a Scion, Burn.
I would love to play against Scion all day. Like,
No, I
Yeah.
don't think Scion. I think
Yeah.
you just play
What
like Poppy Zig,
Poppy Zig,
Lurk,
Lurk.
and then some random ass rally
Okay.
deck.
mhm,
Like
not Poppy
whether
though.
it's Sivir,
Like,
Sivir
Sivir,
or
Sivir,
Zen.
yeah.
Like it's not that
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
Like if you want to bring 3 aggro decks, triple aggro is really fucking strong right now. Right?
It's every time.
And I think
Thanks,
Yeah,
Alan.
but like it hasn't like, but the LS tournaments and all the tournaments, like it's not at the top. It's not like
it's not gonna help because everyone stays ready for it. And it's not like it's not in these tournaments. And that's why I keep telling people don't let your fucking cards down.
I also think OLS is like a community tournament, and people like to do cool things in community tournaments. Right? People stray away from the safe choice a little more, especially when it's before seasonals and you want to like see if there's really merit to these things.
I don't know. Scrolling through these, it looks pretty safe. What did well in OLS?
It's like
it
what?
seems like
V,
generic.
Thralls,
I'm
FTR.
surprised by how many.
Well, that's what
flaws
one.
there
Yeah,
are.
and then
Also,
third place is like
right.
Sivir Auction, Zed,
Yeah.
Poppy, like it's all some combination of like these 3 decks or like Plunder or something like that.
Mhm.
Thrall
And Blunder.
it up so much because it's one of the few like really solid GP set
Yeah,
gems, right?
Yeah,
Something
but
like
I don't
that.
know how much I expect that in like the overall like open
Yeah.
rounds or who's gonna adopt that.
I was,
what do you guys think about this? Like from last seasons especially, like I keep going against like just meta decks and seasonals. I keep waiting for like some brew, some craziness, some like more of these like aggro kind of lineups that we're talking about and stuff. And all I keep getting is like, you know, like the top 5 decks on the ladder, like 3 of those.
that's basically what's going to happen for 70% of your rounds. Yeah.
Yeah, most rounds are
Yeah.
like that. I find like if you're like 8-0, like 7-0, 8-0, you start running into some weird stuff. Like there's always some guy who's like 7-0, 8-0, and he's playing like the funkiest list possible.
I run into weird stuff around 1 and 2, and then later. Yeah.
I remember like once or twice, I think I've lost to B, and he's just like, he has these random ass aggro decks. He goes, oops, Battle Fury you. I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, that's my move.
Unyielding
Yeah.
spirit on my Fiora. Get you.
Yeah.
Now, Jason, I will tell you, like, it is probably correct to just play the best decks. But I want to shoot myself in the head every time I play Plunder. I can't play that.
I love Plunder.
I hate it.
I don't know what you guys are talking
I hate
about.
it
I
so
There's
love
people
it.
that would put Plunder on my 3 best decks lineup. I think it's probably
Me neither.
the best deck, but I don't think I would bring it in a lineup where I was just trying to play the 3 best decks because I don't like bringing the thing that's most likely to be targeted. And that's why people show up with Thralls so much.
I get that. But if
Because
it wasn't,
every-
if it wasn't for Thralls countering it, like, Plunder's really, really hard. I was talking to Jason about this earlier, and he's like, well, what stops Plunder? And I was like, nothing. Like, because sometimes they just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and you die.
Hey, Rocka.
DK Rocket,
Leave
yeah.
Raka Thralls.
Yeah,
Like, if you
that's it,
actually
yeah.
want to stop Plunder, you can. It's just not a good idea.
The issue is to like hard counter Plunder. Like you play bad decks, right? You know, you're
play
playing like
one bad
TK
deck.
Rocka.
Well,
Click
Like,
one bad
that's-
deck.
if you're 100%
What bad
hard
deck?
countering,
9 rounds.
yeah,
Like how are you winning those?
you're like
Okay,
Thralls,
but, like,
DK Rocket.
How many
Yeah,
rounds are
there's-
actually gonna see GP Sedge? Like I genuinely think there's
5 or
gonna be
6.
so
I would say
many.
6
What if you
of my
just-
9.
What if
yeah.
you
Only
just bring it
5 or 6.
yourself?
6 or 7 for me.
What if you go like Thralls, Lee and Zoe, Plunder?
Do it. Plunder's a good deck. I just don't want to play it. I refuse to play that deck.
I think that's actually a really
Mirrors.
solid lineup, and I think if you're going to do that, then doing something like doing some mirror tech for Plunder might be really, really solid.
Did that take 3rd in OLS?
I think
It sounds about familiar.
That's what I was going to say. It was like,
I
yeah, it
think,
was
I
all the
think
decks.
that's,
and
that's,
then it was
a, that's a
Thralls.
really solid lineup to be on. And it's the same kind of thing that people were doing last season where they were like, Scion is so good, and there are decks that counter it, but I don't want to fucking play those.
Yeah.
So instead, what they did was they took 2 decks that were really solid in Scion, and then they just took Scion. Right?
Yeah. You want a coin flip?
Really good, well-performing lineups from last season.
Mhm.
That's kind of the same thing.
I bring X, X, and TF Fizz.
Then you're priced into playing, you know, shitty mirrors, right? Like the Plunder mirror is an
that's why I'm not
incredibly
playing it.
Jay
degenerate
loves
one.
that. Jay's all about
So-
that.
Not the
I
Plunder
love
mirror.
Mirrors,
Not
I
the Plunder
fucking
mirror.
hate the.
Oh, not that
flip.
one.
I'm with Henneke. I live for mirrors. The Plunder mirror is miserable.
I
hate mirrors right now. Actually,
There
in
is
general.
there are exactly 2 mirrors in the history of the game that have been fun. TF Fizz mirror was fucking amazing, and Targon and Voke mirrors were hilarious.
Target and Oak mirrors are good.
Nasus Thresh was really fun.
I've always liked Lee mirrors.
I like
What?
the Nasus
Thresh
threshold.
felt good. Nasus
Lee
Thresh
mirrors
felt good.
are
That's
okay.
that
That's very
always
usually
felt
fun.
good.
I also like
Oh,
Terminator
not
mirrors.
Lee mirrors. Lee mirrors are okay. That's his thresh was like, did you draw your stuff?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm with one of them.
that was plenty in that mirror.
Well,
That's
it's
a
also you
lot.
gotta punish bad players.
Mhm.
Always
Yeah.
feels
No,
good.
Okay,
There's a lot of
not
fun.
all the Nasus Thresh games are fun, but the ones where you both had Thresh and you
Those are very interesting.
really interesting.
Wait, you guys just stared at each other for like 4
Is that-
fucking turns.
Yes.
How did that? Yeah, I got a whole board.
They were
It's
so
like-
fun. They were so
No,
fun.
there was a way to
Definitions of
break it. I can't remember what the way was, but there was some way
What
to
do you mean?
break the Thresh stalemate.
Yeah, you get Nasus and then you play the strike spell on their Thresh.
Or like
Yeah,
you
it
just
is.
merciless their thresh.
Yeah, I'm
Or
with
even that. Like, it felt a lot like Nasus Thresh mirrors were, first of all, who has Thresh, and then who can deal with the other person's Thresh. And it didn't feel like there was that much play in the mirror, right?
Unless
And
you like ran weird
if there's
tech
a
cards.
mirror, if there's a mirror that's fun, it's because it's not just about what you draw, right? It has to be both halves of the deck compete
Whoa,
with each
whoa,
other
whoa.
well.
You're not the king of fun, okay? I had plenty of fun playing Nasus Thresh against everything. This is my baby.
That's probably your
Including
favorite deck of all
Nasus
time, though, right?
Including Nasus Thresh, Jason?
Yeah. Oh, I love playing the mirror. Loved it.
Okay.
And I played it a lot. I played like when you look at my my champs, like the level up, it's like Thresh, Nasus, everything else. Even like after all this time.
Mine's like Zoe.
I played it
It's
so
like
much.
Ezreal.
There were only like 2 decks on the ladder then. Hey, it was like Aurelia Azir, Nasus
Nasus.
Thresh. There was like
You played dragons, but that was incorrect. And then Ezreal Draven picked up Steam
Zoe
later.
Vi and just beat all of them.
That's what I did. Yeah, I just
Yeah,
played Zoe Vi all the time.
I did too.
The actual most fun deck in the entire format.
Honestly, Zoe Vi might be my favorite. Like, I might change. I've said Brawl loses for so long, but Zoe Vi might be my favorite deck that was ever a thing.
I gotta go with Zoe Karma still. I love Zoe Karma.
That's because you're a degenerate. But I'm
It was never a deck, Bay. That was never a real thing that people played.
Zoe Karma to this
You
day,
play
I
it,
think
that's
is still my highest win rate deck of all time on ladder. It's like something absurd. Like over 100 or so games, it's like 70%. Probably not anymore because I keep trying to play it. It keeps not working.
100 games. Just play for another 100
For another
games.
100.
Yeah, and then it will. Yeah, it's bad. Once you nerf Fangs, I was like, oh, I just can't play
I
this
think
anymore.
my highest win rate deck ever was Lee Karma, but that doesn't make that a good thing.
Or does it? Maybe we're sleeping on the Lee Karma seasonals. Think, what were we thinking?
Oh, God.
Little Spade going
That one was a deck. The only reason that one was a deck ever was because there were Lee mirrors literally every other second.
Yes. I feel like you tend to enjoy people tend to enjoy mirrors once they like put tons and tons of time into a deck. Mirrors tend to be like something you enjoy more
Because you win them.
because you win them all the time. Yeah, exactly.
what about lineups that want to just ban Plunder? What are the best ban Plunder lineups?
Oh, those are the other half.
Really? I don't know.
No, actually, most lineups are probably ban Poppy.
Plunder.
They're still ban Pop. That's the problem with Plunder is like,
Like most lineups want to ban Poppy or Scion.
Mhm.
Can't think of a lineup that
I'm
wants to
not
ban
even sure I
Plunder.
know where I would start building a ban Plunder lineup because I mean you start with
Sivir.
Sivir, right?
Sivir.
It's yeah. But the
Yeah,
problem
the
is if I'm
issue
playing
is Sivir.
Sivir, if I'm playing Sivir, I want to play a
I
mono
don't-
deck. And like
Sivir loses harder to Poppy or Scion.
So the thing is, if you start building that lineup, you just ban Scion because, like, Sivir hates Scion a lot more.
yeah,
Like Plunder, you can win. It's like 45%.
that is, I think,
Plunder's Plunder's like old Fiora, right? It's 55% into everything.
yeah, you can't like you
Yeah.
can't really afford to ban it, and I think that's Plunder's like best strength because it's
Yeah.
good into everything. It's just
And its weakness is
Well-
that it's bad into itself.
I guess
only when I play it.
me and Henneke played a scrim where we both banned each other's Plunder. So I guess there's that.
I remember that. What
Could happen.
were we playing? I was playing Zeke's Poppy and Sivir Auction, right?
And also Sivir Auction Lurk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Both,
okay.
both decks you kind of. I mean, it.
Like if
Most of
it's
the time we
two
would be banning
mid-range
Scion
lineups
if
that
we
ban,
found it,
like,
right?
yeah.
I think lineups that want Plunder will also want Scion because like the good matchups are kind of similar.
Sure, and like a lineup that starts with Plunder Scion is kind of just fine. Like that's what we were talking about with 3 best decks. Like if you're willing to have
Mhm.
the target on your
But
back.
then I was really
right?
surprised to see like no Scion in like OLS.
Or a ladder. When's the last time you
Not
saw Scion?
anywhere in forever. I feel the way that you guys feel about Plunder. I feel about Scion. Like I don't know. I don't like the deck. Like I just can't make it work for me. Well, my opponents are always like just like turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, like Scion kill you, like go off all the time. I'm like turn 1 do nothing, turn 2 do something awkward, like turn 4 die. Like it just never works for me, that deck.
Well,
I'm hearing it's time to bring back Scion.
you got to do what I do and just have all your decks either start with 3 copies of Concussive Palm or invoke cards.
Oh.
Then you don't have to worry about it. Scion's just always a good
Scion
matchup.
hot minute. Like where
Yeah,
is
it's gone.
Scion, by the way?
I haven't seen it.
Actually, you know what? That's
I mean,
I
I
haven't
have
seen it out
played
loud,
a bit.
but I beat it.
I played it a bit while I was climbing, but I was playing a really fucking weird version. I was on Vision Scion.
Wow, that is weird.
I was having a good time. A precious pet Vision Scion. Just
That's
take out
hot,
survival
dude.
skills, play triple decimate, just fuck people up.
I was playing 10 burn spells Scion.
Yeah, I think most people were right.
It's like, oh, you're at 15? Oh, you have a turn. Like, I'm gonna burn you out now. That was pretty nice. But I also don't like Scion. I don't like to play it after Worlds Top 16, where Scion abandoned me in my time with me. I was like, I don't want to play this anymore.
Yeah,
guess
no,
the
I've been in the
Tri-V
same
decks.
boat. I fucking hate Plunder and I hate Scion. So it's like, oh, I guess Zed Poppy. That's my
Mhm.
good deck.
Zed Poppy's another one of those where it's like, did I draw my champion? No.
Where's
Okay.
Zed Poppy at right now? I started my climb with Zed Poppy. I was crushing everything, and then like, I started feeling like a lot of things were like 50-50. I'd lose, I'd win, I'd lose, I'd win. And I kind of just moved off of it.
No, it's insane.
Plunder.
Yeah. It's
It
It's-
crushes Plunder.
Ed Poppy is really solid into Plunder, and it's also a deck that just has so many different oops I win moments. It's
Yeah,
also
It's nuts.
and I get flamed for saying this, but I'm gonna keep saying it because I'm fucking right. It is one of the hardest decks to play in the game, and playing
I can
Zed
above
Poppy,
that,
the
yeah.
deck is so strong that you can win with it playing badly, but playing Zed Poppy optimally is really, really hard. I climbed a lot with Zed Poppy, and I was misplaying the whole time.
Yeah, I suck at that deck.
I
It's
like
not
Not a deck
unironically,
either.
like Zed Poppy. You know, if you're trying to curve out with Zed Poppy, you're playing the fucking deck wrong.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not an aggro deck.
Oh, yeah.
Just, yeah.
Yeah, I like to set
That tricks up and on turn 3, play your Zed, and then what can they do?
I definitely was playing it wrong, and then I switched to, I showed you guys this on the Discord, was the Lulu Poppy, the mid-range Cythria pod version. And I started playing that one like I played Shenjie 4, which is basically like, I just set up for like a big turn, right? Where I just have like an attack clear board and then rally and kill you. And I started playing it like that, and I was like, oh, that's how I'm supposed to do this. Yeah, it's okay to fall behind because I come back after.
Yeah, I was interested about that because like Lulu's really good and everything, but like Zed's been absolutely insane.
Yeah, no, it's a completely different style of deck. You're trying to do different things. Lulu Poppy's controlling the board, Zed Poppy's controlling your life total by hitting it really hard.
And I think that's what I was gonna say. Is I think that's a lot of why there's a bunch of people that I've heard this from, where they climbed really hard with it and then kind of tanked afterward. I think that it's easy to streak with, which is what the top of ladder can be about a lot of the time. But unless you're actually really, really good with the deck, I don't think it's that high win rate a deck.
I expect it to be the single most banned deck in seasonals.
Yep, hard agree.
Not close.
It's really hard
People are
to
terrified of
justify
it for
playing
good
against
reason.
it.
Yeah, it's also like there's so many decks that it's just like, oh, a rally deck?
I might bring it just for that reason.
Yeah, do it. No, it's
Really?
Yeah.
well, like just for that reason, and also it's one of the best decks in the game. Like,
And
let's not
also,
forget that
yeah.
part, right? But yeah, like if your lineup starts with like Zed Poppy Plunder, you're like already doing fine.
Yeah.
What do you think's the best third deck for Zed Poppy Plunder? Or what are some that make sense?
Whatever you want.
Probably I'm fine just playing like Scion or Sirach.
Scion, Sivir.
Can you play Lee?
You could play Lee if
You
you,
could
want
play
to.
Lee, yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind playing Lee with that. Like Poppy Lee Plunder is fine. Like
Honestly, like
honestly,
you can play anything right now.
Poppy, Scion, Sivir, Lee, Plunder. If you pick 3 of those decks, like literally out of a hat, you're probably gonna have an okay lineup for seasonals.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
and this is what I'm saying. I feel like that's what I've been seeing seasonals after seasonals recently, and that's why I'm like ready to just be like, I don't care about like, I don't know, burn lineups or whatever, because the vast majority are going to be lineups that have 2 or 3 of those decks. And so I'm much more interested in either, you know, playing a lineup that's using some of those and targeting some of those, or just like going hard left field and like actually just bombing all over people that bring like Scion or a Poppy deck or whatever, if you could pick 2 of them that like people will almost certainly have one of them in their lineups and just be like insanely good against them, I'm ready to try that out.
I don't expect to see very much Scion in seasonals.
Which is weird because I think Scion is still like super fucking good.
It seemed really good.
Yep. I just don't expect to see it much. Now, when people do bring it, I'll be like, right? But like, I think I'm gonna see 2 Scions maybe.
I think Scion is the easiest of like the big decks to target, right? I
Yes.
think we've kind of been sitting here long enough
Right.
that we know how to beat Scion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether we actually bring lineups that do it, it's a question, but
The nerfs to Scion made it so the deck's counter matchups are actually counter matchups, and a lot of the Scion players don't like that. So I know that's kind of why I put Scion down, because I'm like, wait, I don't have my Aloof Traveler sucks now, and I don't just have this infinite removal spell on a stick. I have to actually try to win with Burn. Boo. So I think whether it's still a really solid mid-range burnout deck, but I think that is one of the big reasons a lot of the Scion players have dropped it, or at least that's why I ended up dropping it.
GP Sedge and Zed Poppy will be the 2 most played, but what's the 3rd most played?
Scion or Sivir.
It's probably gonna be Sivir, and then I think it's gonna be Scion, Lee Sin,
Scion,
Lurk.
Sivir, or Lee. It's literally the
Kind of here.
Lurk, probably.
Yeah.
so
If there's going to be a lot less
is-
Scion,
Lurk is kinda dark
does that
horse.
make you want to bring the Lee less?
No. Do you know who you're talking
I
to?
really want to
I
I
mean,
think
theoretically, not.
Demographic.
I think Lee might be the best deck in the format. Like, no joke. I think
I think
Lee
I
with the
agree.
Solarian Priestess buff is
Huge.
actually busted.
Yeah.
And the only reason we're not seeing it completely dominate ladder is 1, people are inherently biased against that deck and they don't want to play it because they hate it. And 2, the deck is very difficult to play, even more now that it's a Solarian Priestess deck.
I'm a holdout on the pods. I'm still playing like 2 pods, Scatter Pod, even though I know that's not like the correct build right now, because it's just so good in the mirror. It's so good, right? You just play it and you click fast, and you're like,
Guess I win.
yeah, like good luck, friend. All right, here's
Like,
my
I've
will of
seen,
Ionia or
my
something.
opponent from like 15 with pods.
Pods just
Yeah.
good card. It's really
Oh,
good.
it's a really good card. I just don't like playing things that cost 6 mana anymore.
That gives you 1 back.
Yeah,
So
it's
instead, I cast a 12 mana slow spell.
that's right.
Oh man, I'm excited about seasonals. I did not think I was going to be. I mean, you guys know in chat news, I've been talking about the seasonal as something like I did not care about at all. And then over the last, like, I kind of took a bigger break from Runeterra than I had expected because of like the Flesh and Blood callings and like going to see family and other things. And so in that time, I've come to be really excited about competing again. I like kind of lost sight of that for like the content side, you know what I mean?
I'm the same boat. I didn't play for so long that like I've been like this last week or a few days I've been playing a lot and I'm like, this is fantastic. That's all I want to do now.
It's like,
I
why am I not
finally
doing
took
so
like
long? Yeah.
a long enough break to like get out of the burnout and like come back to it again.
It's tough when you have to make content, right? Because like it's different. You start to see things.
It becomes work, right?
It's work.
It's a
It's
job.
work, and you start to see things less in terms of like how fun is this, and a little bit more in terms of like what does this do for me, right? Like I could play this deck and get good at this deck, and that would make good content, or I can't play this on stream because no one wants to watch me play this. You know, even if I enjoy it, maybe, right? Like those thoughts enter your head, and so just kind of like moving away from that and getting back into like I just want to compete in the seasonal has been really nice for me. It's a much healthier mindset, and then when I'm having a good time, people have a good time watching. You know what I mean? Like content's just better.
I started playing like on my own. I was curious to get your guys' thoughts. Like now that I was playing more and I got excited about it, I'm like, oh, I should just stream a bunch, or like I'll jump in the Discord and like, you know, play with a bunch of other people. And like, for some reason that like gave me a bit of like, I don't know if anxiety is the right word, but it's like a thing then, all right? It's almost like, you know, it's a job I have to be on, whereas like if I just play with myself, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's relaxed. It's something I'm doing leisurely for fun. And I was curious if you guys have experienced anything like that.
I mean, I've been playing a lot on my own, at least this season. Like, I took like a I guess I took a break from streaming, sort of. My YouTube's been pretty interactive. And I just been like playing ladder for like 2-3 hours a day at night. It's like, all right, I finish my dinner. I just sit down and play like games.
Throw on my favorite music or something. Just go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been not like a trying to flex moment, just to like having the experience moment. I've been a top level gamer at a whole bunch of different games, and I've hit that moment in a bunch of them where you're doing the thing so much that it begins to feel like the job. And it doesn't matter what you're doing. At the end of the day, if you are doing something that becomes just work that used to be fun, you will get burned out on it. And being able to take the step back and have fun with it again is like, it kind of resets you to where you want to be anyway. Because when it becomes just work, then you play worse. Like that's another reason why I don't ever stream seasonals. Because if I'm on stage and I'm like doing that, like Worlds was the exception, right? That was just such a cool fucking moment. But if I'm on stage, then I'm not me. And actually getting to be me and just hang out and play the game is really cool and important to me. So I definitely feel that.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of have the complete opposite experience. Like I don't stream much at all. I play most of my games on my own just for fun. Well, just to play. And right now I'm not having a lot of fun playing by myself, but I had a lot of fun streaming like last week when I had a chance to play.
It's a different experience for sure.
Yeah. It's a lot more social, and I think I kind of missed that part a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, like I'm not having a ton of fun playing a lot of the decks right now, but I still have this like massive drive to want to win, you know? Like I just like competing a lot.
I lost that for a bit. I was sitting there and I was like, why do I even care about seasonals? And then I was like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I want to win. It was almost, it sounds stupid, but it was almost like a revelation. It was like, wait, I like winning. Like, I can win this.
Wait, winning is fun.
And I was sitting there and I was looking at Masters Ladder and I was like, no one's playing. Like, there are no Masters right now. Like, I wonder who's going to step in and, like, really, you know, take advantage of the fact that, like, people are taking it super seriously right now. And then I was like, I could be that person.
Have you guys been playing against a lot of the same players? I went to bed last night, got paired against the same like 3 people in a bunch, and then this morning woke up, played a couple, like had the same people again. It was like, Jesus.
I've been staying up playing till like 3 a.m. though. So, and
I
that,
had like a best of 3 against someone last night.
yeah.
It was like 3 matches, had a good competitive set, you know, same decks. But
I played against Tank. It's like I'm the tank or something. I think he might have been the one who finished 3rd at OLS. I played against him like 5 times in a row, so we both kept switching decks.
Yeah, I was gonna say my poster switching decks.
Yeah, I played against Aneda. Yeah, at 3 a.m. I was just in bed on my
last
phone.
week I was streaming. I played a game against someone, and then I lost like pretty quickly. And then we played the exact same matchup, and for the first like 4 turns, we played the exact same cards in order, and I was like completely tripping out on it.
You just ego each other when that happens, because I always do.
Yeah.
I use that's like a perfect Lulu.
Yeah.
And then that's that moment where like you keep queuing into the same person, and you just like start picking counter decks. Like if I played the same guy twice in a row, I'm gonna pick a counter deck on the 3rd game. I can't help myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I play it like 2 different times. Like during the day, I run into like a few specific people, and then at night I run into a few specific people. So like during the day, I no longer play like Zed Poppy. I'm like bringing Shellfolk because other people are playing Zed Poppy. And I'm like, I'm gonna beat this shit. It's like levels. It's kind of ridiculous.
is,
but
yeah.
right now,
It reminds-
you really do run into the same people.
It reminds me of like JL1 because there's so few people on the server that he plays on that he would switch decks constantly just because otherwise people would just re-queue back into him and like snipe him or whatever.
That is interesting. I wanted to actually pick your guys' brain about this because for one night, the night that I was trying to hit 400, I played for probably 6 hours, I think. I played on my computer for like 4 hours, and I went to bed and played on my phone for like 2 more hours. And something that I saw a ton of was the Elise, yeah, the spider lady, Jace.
I hate it. It's so annoying.
It was beating me.
I don't know. I keep seeing it. It keeps doing well.
It was like a much more refined list than I was used to seeing, and it was just pretty good. Like
It's just fearsome sentinels, right?
It's
They
fearsome,
just-
yeah.
the-
fearsome
Yeah.
sentinels, and then like the best removal spells in the game. You have like Vile Feast, Mystic Chop, Thermo Beam, Shock Blast, and I was just like, this is good. You know, I
Yeah.
played a couple games with it. It was solid. I couldn't figure out my ratio of 6 costers, right? Because I was basically copying the list by like just what I saw my opponents play. But yeah, there's like 2 versions. One is the one with like the quick attack one that plays Production Surge, and then the other one doesn't play either of those. That's kind of what I got.
Yeah, I keep running into them. Like for the first like 5 games I ran into them, I'm like, all right, it's PNZ, Shadow Isles control. And then I realized like every time I got to turn 5, they'd have 2 cards in hand. I'd be like,
Yeah, and you're
in control. You're
you're-
beating my ass down.
yeah, you're at 8 life and you get
With
double
that-
shock blasted. You're like,
Yeah, I've stopped fucking up the mulligans, and now it goes a bit better.
oh, this
Yeah,
unit has 3
that's
power. I can
right.
keep it.
The deck is a lot closer to like I don't know how many of y'all were around for it, but really old school mono Shadow Isles. Back before any of the Hecarim or Raza nerfs. It's just a solid deck that you just keep playing good cards and pressure your opponent, and then you happen to have Ladros Atro at the top. Like, my problem with that deck is that it feels like if I don't hit Ladros, I'm always out of gas by turn 8 or 9.
Deck was running
Like,
like 2 or 3
that's
copies
my
of
issue
power
with that deck.
I thought for sure you were going to say your problem with the deck was that it didn't run enough Atro.
Yeah, where's that at?
2 is a deck.
I think
For
the
Atro.
deck, like
Go
as
ahead.
it turns out, Buru Sentinel is like really, 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 really fucking good. Especially if it's backed up
Yeah.
by like Shock Blasts and Mystic Shots. Like
Yeah.
that card is insane, and right now in the meta there aren't a ton of fearsome blockers.
I've been
yeah.
playing Brew Sentinel when my only activators are like Vile Feast and Sunburst, and the card is still good. In a deck where you're actually allowed to use it, it's a really good card.
Kindly Tower Keeper has taught me that like 3/3s for 3 are just good. It's just really good right now. I keep saying that in all my YouTube videos. I'm like, this card's a 3/3 for 3. It's fantastic. I think it's by far the best Albus Pharaohs deck. Is that the card name? The Jace boat?
the boat.
It's by far the best boat deck. Which is like,
They play the boat.
they play the boat. You play like 2 to 3 copies. It's
Why?
really good.
Because he comes down
He-
and then like suddenly you realize, hey, if this guy attacks, I'm taking 5 damage to face. What the fuck?
And you're already at 8 because they play the Sentinels.
And if you get low in that deck, they're like, oh, I guess if they drop a flip Jace, I'm taking
They just
fucking
kill you.
6 to face because of Shock Blast.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
The version that run Albus also ran like a couple extra bird spells, I think. I think I saw like an
Albus, like-
Aftershock or something. Maybe a Get Excited.
I'll check it out, but Albus Pharaohs just feels like bad Ladros to me.
I actually really like him. I think he's pretty good.
God.
I don't think he's insane, but like I think I have from the beginning, from the reveal, I have thought that he would overperform people's expectations. I thought he would be better than people thought.
I mean, that's a low bar, but
That's true. I don't expect him to like shape the meta or anything, but I expect him to take people kind of off guard. I think he's actually a pretty solid card.
okay. I mean, let's see that top 32 Albus Pharaohs list.
That'd be cool.
I'm waiting.
Yeah, and they're gonna beat me on the way in, and I'm gonna be like, I told you guys.
Do we know what the matchup table looks like for it? Like, is it okay to plunder?
I don't know, but it's pretty good
No.
in Zed Poppy. Like Zed
Uh,
Poppy. variants.
Yeah, PNC shits on
Someone
Zed.
brought it to LLS and then
Same thing with Zibrock.
Kind of,
It's getting old. And Lurk.
Was-
It's a pile of removal spells. Any deck that a pile of removal spells is good into, it's going to be good into.
It's hard to block it. Now I don't know if you guys have caught on to this yet. This is some hot tech here. Vile Feast is a really good card.
You don't say.
The Shadow
know.
Isles card?
Kinda
Like
new.
the
Yeah.
2
The
mana-
2 mana one. It's
It's
fast.
just- it creates
Yeah.
a spider. Spider isn't very good, right?
Yeah, no, it's pretty good card.
That's a 1/1. A 1/1 for 2 is bad.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time, yeah.
It's kind of trolling, man.
Sorry, I think.
You know what's interesting though? Okay, real talk though. As we've all known, card's good. But I was actually starting to think the card was not as hot these days. Like it used to just shut things down. And recently, with kind of power creep, I felt like it was just like not as good. So I'm surprised to hear you bring that up with being a card that you're like, oh yeah, I'm impressed by this again right now.
If you think about it, against aggro, it's kind of like a 2 mana tri-beam.
That's kind of exactly. Oh, I'm pink now. Oops.
Well,
Yeah.
I just watched like Hideki painfully thinking about it for a moment. He's like, "You're right, but what the fuck?"
That is how
That
it
was
feels.
my
though.
reaction.
It's a 2-for-1.
Yeah.
It's like
I-
exactly.
No, it's not a 2-for-1 a lot of the time though.
So
Everything
if
has
your
two
opponent
drops now.
if your opponent develops, right, and then you vial a 2-1 or something, like
Okay,
that's
but
massive. It's a pretty big
that's
swing.
only that played is like exactly like 1 or 2 2-1s in like.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, how
and
many
there's
good decks
so
play
few
2-1?
decks that can actually do
You know,
multiple 2-1s. I mean,
I
like
think
big
Vile is good for a couple of reasons. It helps like the random 2-power value units trade up really well out of either
Yeah.
like Teemo Swain or any of the random Targon piles that I play. And it also, and this is something that gets overlooked a lot. There's two other really important things. It pops Sivers Spell Shield and it beats Kegs. And I think those are both a really big deal.
I very often use a Vile Feast. It's like Vile Feast on my turn, block a 5-power unit. It's just 2 mana gain 5.
And that's fine. I'm down for that too.
Yeah, my 5-power units have overwhelm now, so
Which ones?
all the plunder champs.
Oh, that's fair.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you got me there.
Okay, but
Wow.
see, you're
Wow.
only allowed
Wow,
to
we
draw
talked about
5 of those a
Valkyries
game, okay?
Only 5.
Oh, okay.
It's God, why does Plunder draw more champions than any other fucking deck in the game?
Well, they
I
started.
don't know. I haven't been playing it. It does not.
I was playing a game against it last night. I think I aloofed like 2 champions, killed 2 more, and then they still like fucking dreadway into Gangplank and kill me. It's like, what the fuck?
To be fair, they are a lot of the versions right now are playing 9 champions effectively, right? They're on 3/3, 2 Dreadway, and a Field Rush. Like
Yeah.
part of the reason is they're playing more champions than the rest.
That deck also sees
They
like
have
a
like
ton
one
of
draw.
cards.
Yeah.
Half of them are yours,
Mm,
but
Yeah, they have like
They play
one
like
draw
crap.
maybe.
That's it.
They have the 3 2 drops that cycle, and then they also have deck thinning with Zap. I think Zap is still one of the best cards in that deck. I think people playing less than 3 Zap are just wrong.
Speaking of not drawing champs or drawing lots of champs, I just played the Plunder Mirror, and I didn't really know how to mulligan. I like an interesting early keep, so I didn't mulligan aggressively for any champs, because you just draw them, right? And then it comes like turn like 5, I haven't drawn one. I'm like, oh, this is really bad. Like turn 6, I haven't drawn one. But instead, I had like 2 zaps, and then stole one of my opponent's zaps, and just like got them. Just like slowly killed one of their champs, like slowly raced them, and then, like the last turn of the game, drew a champ and like won the game.
My last
Zaps like
Plunder
went the
Mirror.
distance.
I'll tell you mine. I gotta get sorted too. You first.
Oh no!
I've complained about this one in the Discord. But it was Fight Night last Friday.
I remember hearing
Now
your
it's raining.
reaction to it. I don't know what
11.
happened though.
And I decided I wanted to keep a warning shot, because it's a good combo activator. Get the plunder pieces
In your
Anyways,
opener?
in my opener. Yeah, it was a bold take.
Sus.
But I kicked 3, and then another 2 warning shots came back, and I had like a make it rain or something. I was like, well, I guess I lose. On turn 2, I draw a black market merchant, and I'm like, yes, I can steal some of his cards and catch up into my game.
Oh, I see.
So I warning shot. I play my merchant, and then I steal another warning shot. Like something
Yeah.
and 4 warning shots.
Yum
then my
it,
next draw-
Lord.
My next draws were like Grifter. I stole a field rush, and then I drew my own field rush. So my hand is just like nothing.
Yeah, full house.
That's like
Yeah, that's true. You got a boat.
I don't know what you're complaining about.
I had a boat. Yeah.
I was playing.
Everyone knows that the best hand is to decimate your opponent on turn 2 and then play no cards until.
Yeah, warning shot, warning shot, warning shot, warning shot, pass. I was playing with Mirror, and my opponent did the runner merchants. So they played merchant, stole my merchant, played merchant, stole my merchant, played merchant, stole
Dirty.
grifter, played grifter, and I was like, I hate this.
Yeah, it's some fun, isn't it?
Like, wow.
Fun when you're the one doing it.
That's what I was hoping for.
I just didn't get to do it.
Stop keeping warning shot in your opening hand.
Yeah, that was. That was
Plunder
agreed.
players fucking deserve it. They play literal -1s, like warning shot. No, fuck them. And they still don't
It's a
run out of
combo
cards.
activator.
What? Never.
It's
taking
I
unstoppable.
never run out of cards. Ever.
I
How do you
fucking hate
stop
Plunder.
that? You can't stop it.
I fucking hate Plunder.
It's because when they get to turn 5 and 6, they literally just play 1 card a turn, and their card is worth like $1 million.
It's just so
Literally
good. Yeah.
GP.
It's so good. GP
And you
has
can
some like
Weird.
some of the most impactful level ups that have ever been printed on cards.
Can we just like nerf Gangplank already? Fuck Gangplank.
I know he's so good. I don't know.
I hate Gangplank.
Red Nerf, he's been around for forever.
I
He
love
finally
Gangplank,
gets to be
but
good
he's
once.
way too
He's,
good.
Gangplank has never been out of the meta.
No.
Okay,
Gangplank
he's
has
been
been
like-
broken forever.
Plunder has been like really good for like 4 months. I know that we kind of forgot
Okay, well,
about
it's
it a
been
little
one
bit
long
after.
season.
And then before that was Pirates was
really
tier 1 forever.
This season
Yeah,
doesn't
Pirates
count.
was good for, I mean, Gangplank level never became
No, it didn't matter.
Plunder, but like I played
That's not true.
TFGP like, dude,
It
I
would.
mean,
I love Gangplank when I was playing Pirates, man.
yeah, but I mean,
But it's
Wasn't
less
that-
important than like your decimates, right? But
yeah.
like this fucking Plunder deck that literally flips them, I swear 60% of the games they're just flipped on 5. And I'm just
You don't
like,
think Sejuani's the bigger problem? Like,
No,
flip
fuck
Sejuani's
no,
such a
absolutely not.
mess.
fuck Gangplank.
Sejuani is really good, but like it's Sejuani is harder to get the payoff because not only do you have to
Yeah.
like level her and then play her at 6, you also have to be able to
It's true. She
activate
doesn't
her.
just win the game on
Yeah.
round. Yeah.
Gangplank on 5. You're just like, well, fuck me, right? Like my
I guess my
board's
board is dead. I'm taking
and I take the
six.
8. Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah.
The amount of times I'm at like 13 or 14 health, and it's like, oh, Gangplank came down. Oh, I guess I'm
Dead.
dead.
You're just dead. Yeah. And then they just like morning shot. They deckhand morning shot you. Or like Gangplank's leveled, so they just get a keg and then they just morning shot.
I
you.
mean, to be fair, to do that, you have to play a deck full of cards that don't do anything, as Henneke experienced in his game. So, I mean, yeah, there's a trade-off.
Yeah,
That's why
you're playing Crackshot Corsair and Make It Rain. I'm sorry.
Yeah, some of the best cards in the game right now.
I'm so
Rye
sorry.
Warden into a crack shot.
There are a couple of whiffs, but like the deck is incredibly efficient.
Yeah.
Incredibly efficient.
It's very good. Yeah,
Have you ever played
that's
Goldheart into it?
obviously good.
That feels bad. Like it should feel really good, but when they play a 1-drop and you realize that you can't go hard any of their 1-drops,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I just can't interact.
I mean, that it's all
Why does Raven
go
do that
hard's
too?
kind of bad.
Go hard's a bad card now, for sure, for sure.
It's been bad for a while.
But like you get to play 2 of the best 1-drops in the game, and I just can't deal with it. This is just turning into me whining about Plunder, but I'm okay with that. Like yeah,
I'm right there with you, bud. I'm here
The
to
more you guys dislike it, the more it makes me like it.
We all hate Plunder. If for anyone who doesn't know,
I
mean, honestly, no one knows, but our whole protein Discord is literally just all of us complaining about Plunder. Like it's
hate
literally
Plunder
just
so
walls
And
of
I just
text.
I
For
just
the past
grow
5 days,
stronger
that's all
every
we-
day.
all you see is yeah.
all our tournament
We did.
lives are like based around being Plunder.
There's a daily message that goes, "I am not playing Plunder," and this deck is really strong.
We just talking about how we get shit on by Plunder, and then someone will chip in with, "Well, why are you playing it?" We go, "Shut up."
I must be getting
It's
all
me,
the
I'm
run good
someone.
from you guys because I just like I never lose to that deck. I just shit on people. They're like, oh, to draw my champs, just got there with Zap somehow. Like I just have won so much of that deck.
No, I
But
love,
again, a
I
high
love
roll.
that deck. I played a lot of Plunder too. I think it's really fun. The only reason I'm not on it right now is that it feels like it's the biggest target, and I guess maybe I'm just a little bit of a hipster. It's very hard for me to pick the deck that has the biggest target on its back
Yeah, you said
unless
that
it's actually tier 0. Like
Mm.
the only time I think the only times I've done it were during Go Hard and TFS.
Yeah, you just had to play him.
All right, and when you played like Scion and like made it to Worlds, right? That's kind of crazy.
I don't think I played Scion at seasonals. I played Scion in Worlds, but I don't think I
No.
played Scion at that seasonals.
I played Sound at Worlds and regretted it. Why didn't I play League?
I
Well,
That's fun,
I-
dude.
why did I
that's
bring
right.
Nami?
Oh, because everyone was on Poppy.
Everyone was on Poppy.
Zoe Nami. You were playing Zoe Nami.
That's right. I was playing Zoe Nami, and I couldn't get Fizz Nami to work nearly as well as I wanted it to.
Yeah.
That's
Fuck
right.
Nami. Why didn't more people bring Nami? I would have won Worlds if more people brought Nami.
I brought Nami. It was my other decks that let me down.
It was like only NA that brought Nami.
Yeah. Well, NA was on it, dude. Nami was the shit. It was
Oh
so
yeah,
good.
that's right.
Nami was
Nami,
good.
week- it was a
Nami
week
kind
right
of let
before.
me down a little bit, but that's okay.
I played a lot of
The
people
game where
who
they
underestimated
didn't let you
Nami,
down.
who like wouldn't ban
That
it in the
was
matchups they needed to,
hilarious.
and I just crushed them in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And went, well, thank you, and then moved on.
It was bye.
It was so funny to watch the Southeast Asian Worlds as the day progressed, them figuring out they had to ban Nami. Like, the Southeast Asia's opinion of Zoe Nami round 1 and round like 6 were incredibly different. And it was really funny to watch that.
when Ping Ping Ho didn't ban my Nami, he banned like Poppy
Mhm.
in his like triple aggro lineup. I'm like, buddy, I think he
Oh my
messed up.
god. Oh man. You feel like it wasn't NA that was on it? Poland was on it? Poland wasn't playing Nami. Poland was just
Yeah.
Alan and Shihu, right?
Alan and Shihu.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They didn't play Nami. Yeah.
They were on the anti-Nami.
Yeah.
Um, Good times though. I'm like I said, I'm really looking forward to the seasonals, which is a very big surprise for me because I didn't think that would be.
I think it'll be a really good time.
We haven't talked about it at all. What are people's thoughts? I know mine. What are people's thoughts on Darkness? Because I see that pop up every now and then.
I
I
dislike
think it's
it.
good.
Those are two
Fine.
different
So,
opinions.
I don't
This is
play it,
kinda-
right? Okay.
There you go.
Disclaimer, I don't play
There
it.
you go. Yeah, I don't think you're allowed to
And
say a deck
every
is good
time-
unless you yourself, or unless like you've like, I don't know, put in some reps or you like have tried playing it in some
Sure.
tournaments. If you're like, that deck's that Lurk deck's fantastic. Lurk is so good. Jason, you play it. I would not touch that. But it depends
So,
on
like-
clown pole, but that deck's fantastic. It's so good. You do it.
I feel like Darkness. I watch a lot of Twitch streams. I don't know if you guys know this. I watch a lot of people play other decks. So like I've seen a lot of Darkness gameplay. And every time I look at their hand, I'm like, wow, your hand does fucking nothing, right? But then they just like win anyway.
They just get there. Yeah.
A critical mass of removal and like value that you hit where like you can no longer lose this game. I think that the deck is like annoying as shit to play. It looks just miserable, but I think it's good. And losing to it feels bad.
I don't
Because you know you
You're
lost.
gonna
Like,
spend it, do you
first
think?
three lose.
I don't know.
like Darkness
beats
beats
Scion.
Scion, but like what else? Loses to
Beats
Plunder.
Lee, really.
I
I
don't
don't know
even
if it
think
beats
that's true.
me.
If they have Catalyzer, okay. So the disclaimer is if they don't have Catalyzer on 2, they beat nothing. Right.
That's not true.
I don't. If my opponent has not played a Catalyzer on 2 or Veigar on 4, I don't think I've ever lost to that deck when they didn't have one of those two things at least. Because their Darknesses deal 2 damage, and 2 damage doesn't kill anything.
Yeah.
Except for like.
It's almost
silence.
pretty pathetic. You know.
What if they catalyze her on 3?
Well, then I can shoot it
Unacceptable.
or
It's
something.
too late.
There's usually your deck can deal with the Catalyzer on 3. Usually you have to block it on 2.
Yeah.
And so I had a point, but I lost it.
Like I think you're right in that like the only thing that's beating at like the top of the meta is Scion. But I think it beats a lot of random shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Like,
Like it's probably like the best control deck part from like FTR.
Yeah, but how?
something.
Like, I mean, Jason was talking about this earlier. Like, how good is like, I guess having a deck that catches garbage? You know, like, I think if a lot of the lineups are going to be on a lot of the good
I
decks.
think a lot of decks catch guard.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if your deck is
Plunder
good
beats a
against
lot of the
garbage.
random decks too.
like,
Yeah.
like Darkness just loses to so much. I don't know.
I think it will show up in seasonals, and it will
Oh,
do
for
better than I expected to.
Sure.
My experience from playing against Darkness is like, oh man, I can't ever win this game. Oh, you died? Oh, that's shocking. Like just again and again and again, where I'm like, oh, I can't possibly win. I must
feel
be
that.
dead here. And they're like, oh, you died.
It's like,
Oh,
well, they
interesting.
obviously have Minimorph, and then they just don't.
They have like, oh, they have like 8 cards in hand. They must have like all kinds of
Like
answers.
any
they're
mid range
dead?
deck just like rolls through them. It's like, oh, you play a 4-mana 3/4? All right, I guess you lose.
I think Darkness is being built wrong a lot. I think it's a deck that's really hard to play and it's really hard to build correctly. I think Robemaker is trolling, and I think that
I really disagree.
and I think the deck is a lot better in a high level player's hands that
Oh, yeah.
people give it credit for.
For sure.
I would not be surprised to see Darkness in the top 32. I can't bring it because I haven't put the reps in, but I think the deck is very solid.
I can't agree with you on Rogue Maker.
I also really like Robemaker.
Like-
Maker seems so good.
It just like your darkness just seems so efficient. Like you lose out on so much, unless you have like Catalyzer, Veigar, like as Bay was talking about, and getting it up to like 4 or 5. It's not really efficient to be darknessing for 3 mana.
I have not been impressed
I
with
think
Senat
the
outside
more-
of Robemaker games.
Yeah.
I think the more you care about darkness in your darkness deck, the less you're playing it correctly, and that can be very. I realize that's a controversial take, but I
be.
think that darkness as a deck is an SI control deck that happens to use Veigar as a win condition.
I think Darkness like does this thing where on like turn 6 or turn 7, they play like 3 Darknesses in a turn. And, like they turn the corner and it's like, oh fuck, wait,
You're at
why
20,
did you play like
and then
one,
you're not.
You can't
one
do that
mana
with
get
Rogue.
excited? What's that?
I mean, you can just play like 2 Ruinations or whatever and keep that up instead. But I mean, like a lot of the decks don't really give a damn anymore if you ruinate.
Except Plunder.
Like, yeah.
I like ruinating people. It's been good for me.
Me too. I don't ruinate anymore though. I just kick them with 2 decks. I kick people with 2 decks now. I have Nina, who I think kicks because in her art she's like,
Yeah, those are kicks.
but the
Yeah,
animation looks like flinches.
That deck is so sus, by the way. like playing the full 3 9-drops. Every time I'm like, okay, turn 9. So I could play this 9-drop that bounces like some 2/2s and stuff where I could just feel the rush. Like, okay. Or I'm like, oh, just bounce back your card that's going to come, your unit that's going to come back down to like, get a bunch of value or like do something. Every now and then I'm like, oh, I kept you off stuff and like, gotcha, finally. But probably a whole bunch of other cards would have got me there too.
It's because Mina's your removal spell in that deck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but it doesn't remove Sejuani, which is what I needed to remove.
Your turn 9
Yeah, it does.
still.
It does not.
Yes, it does.
It does not. They recast her. If they're dumb enough to go tap under 6, like yeah, which happens.
Well, you also have have Little Dionysius.
I thought Plunder was a good matchup because I just kept beating them, and then I played people that knew what they were doing, and they just did not tap out ever, and kept their like level their Sejuani super fast, and just like what now?
Oh well,
Try
then
to
you
kill
just
me.
bomb. Like what are they gonna do? Open attack you? You're like sick, thanks.
So you just
when
Yeah.
How do you kill them?
Eventually you get there.
Kill them.
They
They're
just
not
run out
bad.
of ways to freeze your guy, or you just chain 2 bounces and turn, and you win the game.
It only takes 4
sure, easy.
4
They
events.
can't. Okay, Sejuani will never kill you. Not even once. They have to have Gangplank or like combo off with Dreadway, right?
Shockingly, they have other cards in the deck.
Yeah, but I mean, so do you. Right?
Maze.
Shockingly, they also have gameplay.
Sejuani just like shuts you down though. Like,
Just
you're
a
like
bit.
no, you're like
For a
not
bit.
killing them for forever.
They only have 3 warning shots. It's fine.
Also, you're running, like 3
They only have
FPRs
6
left to
warning
steal.
shots. Yeah.
They make warning shots.
They do make warning shots, yeah. But I have definitely won more against Plunder than I've lost with Field Arena.
I've definitely seen like quite a bit of field immune on ladder recently. Seems like it's picking
I
up a
think-
lot.
I've won a
Right.
bunch with it. To be fully transparent, I won a bunch. I probably like won like 200 LP like straight up like yesterday-ish.
I don't think it's a Plunder like hard counter. Not even close.
It's definitely
I think
definitely not.
one of the issues is that I think Field Amina is one of those decks that is about on the power level of Field Rush, and that it's like very solid tier 1.5, has some really good matchup tables, but people don't know how to play against it, and they don't really know what to expect. So I think you will likely do better with that on ladder than you will in a tournament. So I would caution against playing Field Amina in a tournament unless you are very solid on the deck.
I'm gonna
I'm
do it
giving too much
anyway.
credit to the seasonal players. Like they're all the same people we're playing on ladder. Though.
They're not even the same
Oh,
people you're playing.
Atlas!
with.
They're not. There's only 4
Finicky.
people on the ladder.
I mean, okay. One thing
What are you talking about?
the one thing is different is like they know you don't have avalanche, and that's it.
I might put it 1 just to keep it a little spicy.
I've definitely like palmed or denied something, and my opponent just sat there for like a solid 40.
Right?
seconds,
It's like,
being
wait, you play
"Oh,
that?
shit.
I have
Wait, I
played,
can't just slam my glorious evolution against a denied deck? What?
I have played an entire game against Field Amina and only found out they were the Ionia variant on turn 9. They muted me and I was like,
Shit.
See, Margin is playing in seasonals, Jordan. I'm telling you.
Oh,
I-
somebody get the burn tree.
I will say, if you play ladder, especially this season, if you play ladder a decent amount, the average player in seasonals is going to be worse than your average ladder opponent.
I think
Because like where are they backfilling from? Do you still get 1,224?
we get
We'll hit 700, right? Well, what do we have right now?
gauntlet refill.
I forgot for backfilling.
Isn't
Or
it
if you
just-
just like cap
We're
your-
almost 500 right now.
We
and
have
it's
4
one
days.
day.
We got 200.
and
Yeah,
2
we'll
days
go
are
back.
American
Don't we just-
holidays.
Don't they just let in more waitlisted gauntlet players? Or
Yeah, they let him away.
I think that's how it works.
But a lot of the people in seasonals are people who made it on ladder in masters and can play 1 deck, maybe 2.
Yeah.
They
Right,
don't know how to build a
yeah, like
lineup.
that.
They don't know how to ban.
Calling out Henneke?
Yeah, I saw that.
So they might be the same players, but they might not be as prepared, right, for like a conquest type format. There's been so many times in seasonal, like I've seen plays in ladder where I'm like, that's pretty suspect. there's been so many times in seasonals where like my opponent is just lost in bans. They just ban the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool, thanks.
Or even like in
Oh,
deck
okay.
construction, there's been like times people bring decks and Thresh Nasus was an example. Like you had to have one of the counter spell because like Thresh Nasus was everywhere, and like you just have to have one for one copy.
Yeah. Right. Negation.
And yeah, one right in negation in your list. And like, I don't know, half of my opponents just didn't. I was like, oh, I guess I win. Like I snap a win here because we'll just stare at each other, and then eventually I'll atrocity you, and when you go, I'll just counter yours, and like it's done.
Yeah.
And stuff like that I find happens a lot. It's just surprising. But you don't know those things, right? Like I didn't know either. I played no rights until my opponents kept countering my atrocity and was like, oh, I need to have a right. Okay, fine. If you're just copying lists, or maybe they're a week old or 2 weeks old or whatever, or you haven't played recently, or you just haven't put the time in, stuff happens.
In the first seasonal, I made top 32, right? But I didn't even know what format it was. Like I didn't understand how like the tournament meta worked. So basically, I just had 2 ladder decks I played and pirates. It was like Draven Ezreal.
Yeah, things have changed
Calista
though.
Mythrace. Hold on, this
I
story
think
gets
it's so much
worse.
better
It gets
now?
so much worse.
Oh.
So I played Draven Ezreal, which was the only deck I could play. Calista Mythrace, which you didn't have to think once, and then Pirates, which you had to think a bit, but I didn't know that back then. And then I made top 32, and I went, okay. People are always talking about how you have to build like a tournament lineup, and it's gotta be like good into this and not fold into this. And I was like, okay, what do I want to do? And I was like, well, I think Deny is probably really good right now. I'll play Lee Sin. That deck was Deny. I hadn't played one game on Lee Sin before the morning I registered it. And then I was looking at my Callista Race deck, which ran 3 Pale Cascades, right? And I was like, what if I take out Pale Cascades and add 3 Deny?
I had that.
How have I not heard that story before? How have I not heard
And yeah, that was my tournament lineup. It was Draven, Ezreal, Callista Race with 3 Denies, and Zed Leaf that I'd never once played. I didn't even know it was in the deck. I was just looking at the deck tracker like, do I play this card?
Karma was.
Imagine if you knew about Field of Mina then.
Oh man, I would have ran it.
Karma?
I would have ran it. I knew I wasn't good enough on it as Karma because that was probably my most played deck.
Oh, yeah.
That was the deck I understood that I did not know the game well enough to play at a high level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was pretty
Good times. Good times. The first seasonal was the Wild West, man.
It was so funny. I actually love like Jason did some funny stuff. I did some dumb stuff.
With Yella. So what'd you bring, Henneke?
I think I've told this story like a million times. I brought 9 Nopify, 9 Deny. That was my lineup. It was Fiora Shen, Field of Mina, and what was the last one? Oh, Zedley.
That's tight though. That's kind of a tight
I
lineup.
don't remember what my other 2 decks were. I brought Endure. Like,
I remember
I remember other decks. But I brought Endure.
Yeah. I remember that. I was like, I hope I don't play this Battle Fury and Durga.
It's sick denies, bro.
Deny my net power fearsome Elise. Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh, Battle Fury. I've lost to a lot of Battle Furies.
I mean, I think I was on like a
love
triple
Battle
hush 6 palm lineup or something like that.
That's disgusting.
It was months and months after I cast my first Battle Fury that I found out it was Grant. They just would have died right away.
Because they died.
Yes, they died.
They died or they killed your Yoda and you lost the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so
I
funny.
don't know,
It
finally got
really is.
stunned and I was like, why is it so big? Oh my god, it grants.
That's nuts.
The night before my first seasonals, I had a stress stream about Aurelion Soul, and I'm like, fuck, I need to bring Aurelion Soul. So I just like net decked Leona A Soul from like Rattling Bones and just instantly threw it in. I don't think I lost a game with it, but I lost with my other shit.
That's so funny. Oh my god.
Yeah,
I
first seasonals, I played 9 games of Field of Mina. I didn't play Mina once. I didn't even see Mina once.
Did you want to see
I was-
Mina?
I think I did. I played the Field of Rush. I played against Field of Rush a lot.
It's so insane against Field of Rush.
Yeah.
Like because then you can like tap out, right? And they just can't.
Yeah.
Because you just get to cast Field of Rush and then you're like, go ahead, cast yours. Do it.
I played 5 games on
Do it.
ladder before the seasonal open rounds of Yasuo. I won 4 of them, lost 1 of them. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to ban Ez Draven and I'll bring it to seasonal.
And it worked out. It was top 32.
This was diamond ladder.
Nothing wrong with Diamond Ladder.
No. I've lost a lot of games in Diamond Ladder.
I think that piece of
Yeah, I think that's probably a good place to stop. That's a little over an hour. That was a fun one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Good luck,
everybody.
Seasons, everyone.
Peace out, guys. See ya.
Yeah. Good luck.
Bye.
Bye.